Welcome to Retro Upgrade. Today's episode was going to be a project video with PCBWAY, but my Vectrex died on me. So this is going to be a Vectrex repair video, or at least an attempt to repair it, because I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay, so the Vectrex shows a white dot and there's no game sound. So what I've read online, this means the logic board has an issue or so. A big warning here, this is a CRT inside the Vectrex, so it's deadly. So you have to be very careful with the high voltage inside. There is a way to do this somewhat safely. So let's get this thing open. It's unplugged. It still has high voltage inside in the CRT, so you still have to be careful. I sped this up a little bit. So there are 4 screws that you can see readily, and there's actually a 5th one near the cable or the power lead. Regarding the white dot on the screen, I know it shouldn't be visible. That means the contrast is way too high. I screwed it down so I don't get burned in, so don't worry. I'm well aware. Okay, yeah, so this thing is quite a rarity, and it's really expensive. I got mine for €5 at the flea market. I was really lucky. This thing is super dusty. It worked when I put it away 2 years ago. I haven't played it since. So this is the flyback connector or the anode, and this is what might kill you. So what I do, I use a flat head screwdriver, not a round or Phillips, but it was just for demonstration purposes. I hook it to the ground around the CRT and then just slide the screwdriver underneath until I hear a pop. The pop is usually a static discharge, so then you know it's safe. It's extremely dirty. Check a few basic things first. So I want to take out the logic board. There are 4 screws holding that down. Oh yeah, and keep in mind the different lengths of the screws. The long ones go through the transformer. The transformer is completely enclosed and it only outputs 11 volts, so it's not dangerous on the leads, but be careful with the input leads. They are 220 volts obviously. Disconnect the power connector from the power board, CRT board, to the logic board. That's the one underneath. There is a connector inside, and there's actually an extra connector for the speakers as well. You don't forget to pull those out before. And desolder the ground lead from the top board to the bottom board. You need a chunky tip for this, but I use 350C and that worked fine. Now it's mostly loose. There is still a few things that is keeping it in place, so I can't pull it out completely, but I'm teetering the screen assembly on a small box underneath, so it's angled out of the way. This is the speaker cable I was talking about. It's a pain to get in. To take it out, you just rip, pretty much. You just pull on it, and that works fine. This is the transformer. That looks fine. I was checking the wires to see if there's something burnt, but there's one that's discolored, but it doesn't look damaged. This is the first failure point, at least. This switch handles both volume and the power, and it usually fails. But you need to test it with the multimeter and see if it switches both outputs. But first, the fuse. It's under this little cover here. So you just take out the screw, take off the cover, and measure the fuse. It's a 250 milliamp slow blow fuse. Okay, time for a cleaning montage.
Time has left its mark. Cleaning old machines takes me back to start. Toothbrush in my grip, IPA in hand, dirt and grime we strip, memories expand. From a little bit, Vectrex shining bright, we won't ever quit, bringing back the light. Games from 81, pixel worlds alive, old but still so fun, retro keeps the vibe. Buttons click so right, joystick in control, colors in the night, clears my heart is dull. Scrub a little bit, Vectrex shining bright, we won't ever quit, bringing back the light.
And now a quick word from my sponsor, PCBWAY. They do everything from PCBs in multicolor, 3D printing, CNC metal fabrication, and a lot more. Check their page out for all the details, of course. They currently have the 10-year anniversary. They have some great deals and some cool stuff to buy. You have to register to enter, but it's a few days left, so go check it out. Get on over to PCBWAY and get your PCB fantasies made a reality. They make everything from flexible PCBs to other interesting stuff. Now back to the video. Okay, let's check the switch. So I check the wiring first, see if it goes from the PCB to the actual connector, and it does. So the connector here is the main power that comes from the actual power board, let's say. And it should have -13, which it does, -5 and 5. There's the 5 volt, and there's the -5. There is a good way to indicate that it's on. You can see the little glowing light inside the tube. Next step I do, at least, every time I unplug it, I discharge it so I don't zap myself or kill myself in the process. I keep this thing hooked on so I can do it quickly and efficiently. Okay, so next, checking voltages on all the chips. I found a nice schematic for the entire logic board, and this tells you where the power and ground are for all chips. Some chips have multiples, so I checked all of them, and they show 5 volts where they should show 5 volts, and some of them show -5 and 5 volts there. I don't know where the 13 goes, because I couldn't see that on this schematic. It's quite filthy, so I re-socketed all the sockets as well. I took them out, cleaned them out. You can see here, this is 5 volt on one side and -5 on the other, and it's present. So this one was bent down. I think the legs were touching, but I'm not sure. It's a NPN junction transistor, but it seems to be working. I measured it, so I found it in the schematic Q303, and it's a 2N3904. I usually, when I don't recognize a part, I try to find the data sheet, and it usually works. It's 100 megahertz tolerance, so I can get these quite easily, but it tested fine. In the same page I found the schematic. I actually found a Vectrex repair manual, and it has a section where common faults, and look and behold, there is a dot without sound. And it says normally it's the PIA 6522 chip that fails, and it should be replaced pretty much. There could also be some problems with the RAM, the clock and stuff. I got a clock signal from the CPU. I thought this was a great opportunity to use my new oscilloscope. So this is the repair methodology, and they tell you to check the switch. I've done that. Check the connector. I've done that as well. The -13, -5, and 5. And the only thing left actually was the chip that interfaces with the 6522. So IC302, and check pins 3, 6, 9, and 10. And if those don't work, all the information that's in this manual tell you to replace the 6522 chip. So they are quite known to fail, especially on old VIC-20s and stuff. So it's not strange at all. The manual was really nice. You can see here I label the pins, and if they have a signal, I put a check mark, but I put a skull if they don't. So the pin 3 was dead, nothing there at all. Some pins have voltage, but no signal inside. And the manual has a really nice display showing what the signal should look like. There should be activity in the bus, pretty much. So I'm using 2 divisions, 2 volts per division here, and about 20 micro per step. So microseconds per step. Sorry. And I get nothing. The only signal I can get out of this thing, pretty much, is the clock signal at 1.5 megahertz from the CPU. That's present and working. All the enable lines are where they should be. The entire testing manual is quite extensive, and of course it works very well, but you need to know what you're doing. This shows that I only get 4 volts on pin 9. So I don't really know if there's something pulling it down to ground, but I've checked actually around, and I measured to see if I have shorts, but there are no shorts that I can find. But of course there are chips that can fail internally and tricks you. A lot of the chips are socketed, so that's really nice. I just took them out, cleaned them off, and put them back in. You have to be careful so you don't bend or break a pin, of course. I didn't find any corrosion inside the connectors, but I ordered up some 6522s and some round hole, what are they called, sockets, just in case if I screw up. So I can make this thing work, because I like the machine. They are really hard to find. They are extremely expensive nowadays. I can't actually get games for this thing even on the island. So you can see here pin 6, if the signal is missing, the recommendation is change the PIA 6522 chip. And actually it goes for both of them. So I ordered 6522s and some actual round hole sockets to replace those. Thank you for watching until the end. When I get my parts, I'll post the next video in this series. This is just a 2-parter, hopefully, not a 3-parter. I also have some stuff from PCBWAY I ordered for the Vectrex. Hopefully I can test them out next time. Bye!